Hey! So, let me just tell you, I'm so excited to be here with you and talk about all things strategy, content, planning, right? First off, I would love to know what you've been up to lately. I went up to the in-laws and I call it went up to the cabin. So you get the rustic cabin look. But it was super relaxing and super fun to be able to just spend time up there with everyone. Yay, you can hear me and I can see you guys. So let me know, what have you been up to? I would love to hear what's going on with you in your life, in your business. Give me a shout out and let's just chat. The awesome thing, hello, Eleanor from Sweden. Thank you so much for joining. Ooh, is it nice right now in Sweden? It's nice out right here right now. So I'm super excited to have the weather that we have right now. So it would be awesome if you're experiencing the same. So here's really what I want to get into today, you guys, is how to create a content marketing strategy in a few easy steps, because let's get real, right? If we are not creating a strategy, then basically we are throwing pasta at the wall, hoping that it sticks. We don't really have a real direction that we're going with our business or our time even. And so what happens is then we get frustrated and we're like, what the heck? I didn't have this planned out. I am not understanding why I'm not bringing in these leads, or I'm not getting these sales, or it's not doing well, and I spent all this time doing all this work and I'm not getting anything from it, right? And so that's kind of one of the biggest stopping blocks for us in business. And another thing that's a stopping block is the biggest question that people ask is how to create that content to convert it, right? But if you don't have that plan and that strategy set up in advance, you're not going to be able to know what's working and what's not working. Okay? So, ooh, yes, I am hoping for the sun for you as well. I'm sorry that it's raining, but it just makes it for an amazing day to content strategy plan, right? So without further ado, let's dive in and let's talk about the easy steps to be able to help you create that plan, right? Let's talk about some core steps that will provide you those framework essentials so that you have yourself set up for that long-term goal to be able to be successful. So the first thing is you want to know what your goal is going to be, right? So you want to document what those goals are. Like I've done it in my inner circle, where we actually came up with a master content calendar. And so it's super fun because like today, even for today's topic, how to create content calendar or effective content strategy, it was in my content plan, and it was planned out weeks ago that that's what I was going to be talking about today. And so I knew going into it what I'm talking about. I knew how to promote it ahead of time to get the people here to be able to talk about it. I knew the time, the location, like all of that. I knew what the description was going to be, how to be able to add a call to action to things, and it was all planned out. So I didn't have to stress about it, and I know what the goals are, how it flows. So each month for me has a specific goal, and it can be easy to get caught up in the tech and the systems, right? And the how and the what and the where of your content. But then you skip over the why. Why are you putting out this piece of content? Why are you talking about this topic? Is it something to create leads? Is it something to build relationships? Are you going to create or provide value to your audience? Do you want to help improve someone's experience or business or mindset, like what is that goal? And no matter what that goal is, you want to make sure that it's a sustainable long-term goal, or not, I use the word goal so much, y'all. But you want to make sure that it's a sustainable, not necessarily long-term, because you can do short-term goals with this too, but that it's sustainable so that you can achieve what that mission is for you, right? And that you can keep your mind focused on that through and through with everything that you do, right? And so creating content just for having content out there is never really supposed to be your goal. It just really shouldn't be. There are maybe a few reasons that I would say, okay, that's fine. But when you are creating content just for the sake of having that content, you should stop and take a second to determine why you're putting it out there. And then once you've determined what that goal is going to be, what that end user goal is going to be, whether it's helpful or getting leads or building those relationships or whatever it is, then you want to determine your thing, right? And so you want to determine what your stitch is, right? And so like there are tons of people out there that do Pinterest marketing, right? And so even though my goal to provide help with Pinterest marketing and build relationships and teach people, she is going crazy. Even though that's my goal, like I want to make sure that I have my spin on it, right? Like my personality and the way I teach it and the way I help people is going to be different. And that's my one thing. I love quirky words. I'm a fun, spunky type of personality. And so I want that to resonate in my content, whether it's written, whether it's video, it doesn't matter. But that should also be in there. So what's your one thing? Do you like to make people laugh? And I want you to type this in. Let me know what's your one thing, right? Do you like to make people laugh? Do you like to inform? Do you like to educate? Do you like to be serious like business? Do you like to be quirky and spunky like me? Like what is your one thing? So go ahead, let me know what is your one non-negotiable when creating content that really shines who you are, right? So first, have a goal. Second, determine what your thing is, what your stitch is, who you are, your motivation. Hey, Christy. Hey, Michelle. Thanks for joining. And then just put that out there. Are you a superstar at X, Y, and Z? Do you like to make jokes, right? Things like that. So give yourself permission to include those in your content. It doesn't have to be business centered. You don't have to always be, inform and share, right? So Michelle has a clothing company that she's with. And so she likes to inform and share. And Michelle, I would also say that your one thing too is to help people's view of themselves, right? To feel good, not only to inform and share, but to boost confidence, right? And so you are a rock star at confidence boosting. And so you want that to shine in your content as well, right? So make sure that you are focusing on that one thing too. Make sure that that's in there, right? And then measure what's working, right? So we went through my Pintastic Bootcamp. Today we did in our Q&A, we did a training on how to add in UTM codes to the ends of the links for Pinterest, because then they can actually consume those metrics and see what's working, right? And so where are people coming to your content? Where are they leaving your content? Where are they signing up for more of your content? So make sure that you're measuring how you're actually reaching the goal that you set up in the first place. So number one is the goal. Number two is determine your one thing. Transform a feeling of beauty. Ooh, I gotta put this up on the screen. Look at this. Transform to a feeling of confidence and beauty. Eleanor says, I'm advising and educating people about sales made fun and an easy way. I always like to wear funny glasses. Yeah, that's awesome. And I see that in your profile picture too. Those classes are bomb. And so that's your thing, right? I wouldn't say like branding per se. It's a part of your brand, but that's your thing. That's how people know who you are. Michelle helps with transformations. Eleanor wears funny glasses and is an educator, right? And so those are your things. So if someone can help me out for the replay viewers, 1, document your goals. 2, determine your stitch or your thing. 3, measure what's working. So go back and see, is this getting traffic? Am I getting leads? Am I building relationships from this? Whatever that goal was, measure it and make sure that you're checking out the types of actual metrics that will help you determine if you're reaching your goal. Make sure it's not the vanity metrics. And like what I mean by that is like at Pinterest, people will be like, oh, I had 500,000 monthly viewers. Okay, well, how many clicks are you getting? 5. I don't care about the monthly viewers then. I care about the traffic on the back end because the purpose of Pinterest is lead, sales, traffic, right? Saves, those things. Not how many people are actually seeing your pin. That doesn't matter if they're not engaging with it. So make sure that you're consuming and tracking and measuring the actual metrics that are going to help you. That's number 3. Number 4, identify your top audience, right? So who is someone that you are going to be able to help? And make sure that when you're writing this content, you're specific about that person, right? So yes, I can teach Pinterest to e-commerce and to coaches and to business builders and to bloggers, and to the list could go on. But I want you right now, tell me who, when you write content to, what is one person that you would love to, or do Facebook Live content, what is one person, one audience that you would love to connect with, right? And why? Tell me why. So I have a Pinterest challenge coming up. If you are interested in joining this challenge, go ahead and write challenge and let me know, shout it out so I can get you the information on how to sign up. Beside the point, when I set up my ads, I want to make sure that my content in my ads is reaching a certain type of person, right? So the ad that I was working on today was to reach not the e-commerce people, but it was to reach the service-based entrepreneurs. And so when I'm writing that content, I need to make sure that I'm identifying that in my writing, right? In the actual content that I'm doing. And so make sure, yeah, Lois, I will totally get you information on the challenge. Not a problem. Make sure that you are focusing on that then when you are reaching out to this content, right? And so one of my ads can be to e-commerce, but I'm going to talk to them about product sales. And if I'm talking to a service-based industry, service-based industry owner, they're not going to care about product sales because they're not maybe selling products. Some of them might, but I need to make sure that my content is addressing that specific audience. So who is your audience? Michelle, if you're transforming people's lives, women's lives, who's that audience? Eleanor, if you are educating with fun glasses, who is that audience, right? Lois, who is your audience? Who do you want to reach? And it doesn't have to be in one setting. Keep that in mind. You can also have multiple audiences, right? So I can do e-commerce and I can do service-based, but the content has to be separate, right? So a service entrepreneurial woman that wants to make a difference in her life, in her business, and in the world around her through sales. Yes. So then service-based, right? And so the coaches, social media managers, things like that, they have a service. Copywriters. And then Michelle says plus size women over 35 because many women gain weight as they go through the hormonal changes, and this causes them to lose confidence in their beauty. Amen, girlfriend, right? So that is who you want to make sure when you're talking to or going live, writing the content, whatever it is, Facebook post update, whatever. You want to make sure that you're identifying that person in this type of way that you're talking to them. And don't just focus on the demographics, right? Focus on their psychographics. Consider stock photos. Consider if people over 35 may not use emojis, right? As much as somebody else. Maybe the younger crowd uses emojis. So think about what the women over 35, what do they like to do? I love sewing. I'm not 35 yet. We're not going to go there, right? But I love sewing. And so maybe sewing is a hobby that they like. And maybe your stock photo shouldn't be someone laying on a beach. Maybe it should be someone working on a sewing machine, whatever it is. Make sure that you're not focusing on just the demographics of location, age, things like that, but also their psychographics. What do they like to do? What are they engaged with? What are their passions? What are their loves? What do they like to watch on Netflix? Things like that. You want to make sure that you focus on the fact that you are 100% not your audience when you're writing this, right? So get out of your own head. Like, you could be, but 90% of the time I'm telling you, you're probably not your audience. So get out of your own head and focus on what motivates them, what their needs are, what their passions are, and not yours, right? And then make sure that you create more content with less. Yes, I said it. Create more content with less. When it comes to content problems, everybody thinks that the solution needs to be more content. Throw more content at their face. Tell them how to do more things. But let me just tell you, we don't need to do content just for content's sake, just like we talked about earlier, right? We don't want to add content on top of content that already exists and give them this massive heap of overload that they're going to probably feel. Repurpose some of your content, curate some of your content, do user-generated content, and then write your own or do Facebook Lives or things like that. Like, give your content new life, give it a quick remix. Make sure that you're not overwhelming your audience by giving them too much that they can't handle, right? And so then the last thing that I have for you is start with a content calendar. Right? Make sure that you have a content calendar that lists out things for you. Make sure you have your sales goals, your links, your offers, your follow-ups, your Facebook Lives, if you're going to be doing email with it, your bot broadcasts, where your hierarchy is in your blog posts, all those things, right? Because those things are going to be what really helps you make sure that you're still focusing on number one, that goal. Make sure that you're focusing on that goal. Now, here's something that we just went over in the inner circle today, and we had gone over pieces of it earlier last month as well, where we would talk about the content calendar that we put together so that it kind of links everything. You sit down, you take 1 hour, you plan out the entire month, and then you just know what's coming up. You know that it's reaching that goal. So if you're someone that's like, oh my gosh, I need this, I need help with that, or maybe you know what's coming up and what you want to be promoting, but you're not sure how to stay focused, or maybe you're not sure how to rank your content at the same time as talking to that specific audience, right? So go ahead, shout out accountability, and let me help answer some of those questions for you so that we can go through and make sure that you're actually taking the time to create content that's going to convert, taking the time to create content that's going to get people to throw that moolah at you, to make sure that they're going to be like, oh my gosh, Laura came up with something. I want to sign up for it. I want to be the first person to get it, or not even sign up for it or get it. Maybe, hey, Laura is throwing this out there and it might not be right for me, but let me share it out because I know somebody else that's really going to benefit from this, right? So if you need help creating that strategy, creating the tech around that strategy, and really the follow-up and the next steps, go ahead and type in accountability. One of the cool things that we have here, Michelle's in it. She's in the inner circle. She loves it. We really focus on the 3 pillars of business growth. And the 3 pillars are systems, strategy, and results, right? And so we will go over a training on the strategy. We will come up with strategies for that specific goal that we set for that month. We'll go through then another training on the systems that can be used, whether it's a pen and a piece of paper, or whether it's ManyChat or ConvertKit or MailChimp or IFT or whatever it is. We will go step by step through that to help you so that you don't get stuck in that point. And then the results, how we're measuring it with Google Analytics, how we're making sure that we're focusing and we're keeping up with it. We're not just learning something and then pushing it off to the wayside and not actually engaging in it and implementing it, but keeping that going. And then how to do it sustainably so that you can implement this one thing and then move on to the next. While that one thing continues to grow and work for you over here, you can be implementing another thing over here. So you're constantly growing in a sustainable way. So if that's something that you're interested in, go ahead and shout that out below so I can get that to you. And if you guys have any questions, Josh, Michelle, Eleanor, Lois, who else was here with us? We had Christy and everybody else that was here with us. Thank you so much for hanging out with me here today. If you're catching the replay, go ahead and give me a shout out, so #replay, so that I know that you were here as well. But if you guys have questions about what we just covered, I know I talk fast. I know I love to help you guys as quick as possible because we all have busy lives, but you still have something that's just like, that didn't sit right, Laura, or maybe can you elaborate on that for me? Go ahead and let me know, and I will come back to here and help you out as much as I possibly can. All right, you guys, have a wonderful day.